Greetings everyone, welcome to episode 2 of Pastor Mike Cooks, the Oglethorpe Presbyterian Church Cooking Show. I'm so excited to be back with you this week. We are cooking a recipe from the one and only Jean Cox. Jean and her husband John were beloved members of our church. Last year they moved down to Florida, of which we are still very sad and grieving. However, here's the silver lining. In this time of pandemic when everything is virtual, we have almost every week been able to see Jean in centering prayer, which we do every Wednesday. We'd love for you to check it out sometime. I asked Jean which recipe she would like me to attempt of her many that she has submitted for our cookbook, and she wanted to do the pumpkin loaf. Pumpkin, it's fall, it's the season, right? Pumpkin spice everything, bring it on. I have a unique relationship with baking, and particularly bread. My face was used on an Onion article, which is a satirical newspaper and then website about banana bread. So that was pretty wild, and I actually do enjoy making banana bread quite a bit. So I'm somewhat familiar with baking bread, so I'm not a complete novice at this, but I've never made a pumpkin loaf before, at least not this kind. So here we have all our ingredients for today. We got our all-purpose flour and our baking soda back here. We got some salt, cinnamon, and cloves. We got our 2 eggs. We got sugar. We got some oil. We got our can of cooked pumpkin. We have our dates, each cut into 3 or 4 pieces, and our coarsely chopped walnuts. We need to preheat our oven to 350 degrees, so I will do that now. Start. Grease and flour 2 of these loaf pans. So instead of spraying oil, I like to use some good unsalted butter so it has a little better flavor on the outside. So now that the pans are greased, we're going to sift together the flour, soda, salt, cinnamon, and cloves. Looks like we got 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. 1 and 2. That was a pretty generous amount. We'll do a little less for our last cup here. And 3. We have 2 teaspoons of baking soda. 1 and 2. We have 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1.5. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves. Once that is together, we're going to sift that in. So let's get that all sifted through here. Our next step is combine eggs, sugar, and oil in a large bowl. Beat lightly just to mix. I've always wanted to do this. Here we go. Okay, going to combine those eggs. We're going to combine 2 cups of sugar. 1 and 2. And oil. We have 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Beat lightly just to mix. Okay. Stir in pumpkin and dates. Probably should have started with a larger bowl for this, but that is alright. We'll make it work. Now the recipe says 16-ounce can of pumpkin. This is only 15 ounce, so we're a little short on our pumpkin. And our dates. So this is what I ended up with the chopped dates. So we're going to dump them on in as well. Add the dry ingredients, beating until just smooth. Here's what my pumpkin and sugar, egg, oil, and date mix is like. And here is the sifted dry ingredients that I've done. And I am going to be adding them together. After some stirring, this is what we're looking at. I think that's looking pretty smooth. We got some chunks of dates in there, but everything else is looking pretty smooth. I'm going to pour in the walnuts. So easy enough. We're dumping them right in there. And stir them in as we are told. Once we have it all together, we are going to pour into our 2 greased and floured loaf pans. Now that our pans are all ready, nothing left to do but to put them in the oven and cook for 1 hour and 25 minutes or until done. So, in we go into the oven. getting them right in the middle, spaced out from each other just a little bit. Alexa, set a timer for 1 hour and 25 minutes.
1 hour and 25 minutes, starting now.
The loaves were in the oven about an hour. I just checked them, and they are pretty much done, if not close to done. I don't know if it was having a little less pumpkin than normal, if it was just our oven cooked a lot faster. It looks slightly overdone on the outside, but looking around, the rest of it seems to be okay. I'm pretty sure it'll turn out pretty good. I'll let it cool, and I'll give it a taste a little bit later on and really look forward to it. Jean, thank you so much for this recipe. It's going to be delicious. I look forward to tasting it. Hi, Jean. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Mike? It's so good to see you.
Likewise. How's Florida treating y'all?
It's turned cooler, and which is really nice.
I bet. I'm sure it's really
actually
wonderful.
Have some fall weather.
That's good. That's a good thing to have. So I'm enjoying your recipe. Said it's good a couple days later, the bread, and that's turning out to be true. I've got a couple pieces of the loaf here so you can see it.
Yeah.
What you've seen.
It looks beautiful.
Good. I'm glad to hear. And you saw the video ahead of time. So how did you think I did on making the bread?
You just did great. You did.
Well, thank you.
And it's a recipe that I probably made about 20, 30 loaves every fall.
Wow.
And I would buy my dates in large quantity at Costco.
That's awesome.
And nuts too.
That's great.
It all started when I planted pumpkin seeds in my garden.
Oh.
And the first year my pumpkin, every year in fact, basically, every year my pumpkin was little. So it was too small to use for Halloween. So I said, I know what I can do is make pumpkin bread.
That's
so
perfect.
2 cups of pumpkin equals one of those cans.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I did that, and ever since. And if I have to buy a pumpkin, I buy a big one so I can freeze it in 2-cup bags.
That's awesome.
And that works nicely.
That sounds delicious. Yeah, I've made pumpkin pie from scratch before, and it's just so much better when you can do it that way. Well, the dates was a really unique part. I've had pumpkin bread with like chocolate chips before, and certainly some nuts, but the dates was new but good. It was really a nice treat.
Good. John and I both just love dates, so I have to either fix date nut bread, but I actually like the pumpkin date bread better.
Nice. It's your date night, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you made a bunch in the fall. Would you deliver them? Did y'all eat all of them, or did you send some?
Oh no, I made them. I had no. I would always keep a couple for us, but I gave them away. And it was fun to always have them in my freezer so I could give to someone
That's awesome.
When I wanted to.
Yes, that's good. It's a good thing to pass along. Well, the only 2 things that little mistakes on my end that didn't come out in the video, where I realized I had used a third of a cup instead of a half of a cup for some of the measurements. And then the pumpkin can was a little less than was on the recipe, but I think that balanced. And then the recipe said an hour and a half, and ended up being about an hour, and it turned out all right. But I guess that just varies from oven to oven and how big your pan is and all that.
Well, that kind of recipe is very forgiving.
Yes.
You can always put a little bit more, a little bit less, and it still works.
Yes.
And you're wise to have checked it at an hour, because mine always take just an hour.
Gotcha.
I think that recipe did say an hour and a half.
Gotcha. Well, good to know. So people make it at home, just check it a little before an hour maybe and make sure, and you never know.
Yes.
We miss seeing you, but it's been a nice treat having you with the centering prayer and with this, so we can still see your
I know
face
I
don't choir and all that stuff. So that's been nice.
I told John I can't miss centering prayer. It is so good seeing everybody, and I miss everyone. And thank you for choosing my recipe.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm going to deliver it to, we won't say their name here on the call, but to one of our OPC folks. They'll get one of the loaves.
Good.
So
good. That is so good.
Just like how you did for so long. So
okay. And John always ate a little bit of honey on top of his.
Ooh, good. I like that. A little extra sweet.
Yeah, and that's good too.
That's great.
But anyway, thank you, and God bless you to OPC. I pray for OPC, and I pray for Weirstair Presbyterian Church every day.
Thanks, Jean. Prayer is always a good thing to send around. So we appreciate it,
Thank you.
Jean. Good to see you.